rallyfm.net live.
For your historic road race or rally car preparation and on-event support, for your classic car servicing or restoration, including mechanical, trim, fabrication and paintwork, all carried out in-house, contact Robin Lackford Motor Engineering on 01403 864 600. If you're outside the UK, make that +44 1403 864 600. For more information, go to our website, www.robinlackford.co.uk.
rallyfm.net.
Good evening, everyone. I think most of you are already sitting down who are aiming to sit down. Welcome to the 6th Rally Forum, 2018 Rally Forum, brought to you once again by Broughton and Bretton Motor Club. A team of volunteers have put tonight together and we hope you have a great evening. It's wonderful to see such a huge turnout tonight and we're hoping for a good one. I'm not going to do much talking about the forum itself or the history of the forum just now. I'm going to do that a little bit later and do a whole bunch of thank yous because tonight's planned to be our last one for a little while. So without further ado, because the guests are all chomping at the bit to get on, I'll introduce our two hosts, same hosts as last year. Please welcome on stage Howard Davies and Ryan Champion.
She's a bit dodgy, Breen. She's got stealth and safety, is she? I'll go over here, you go there. Right, you go there.
Good evening. Good evening, Howard.
Good evening, Ryan. How are you?
I'm very well. Am I sitting?
Anywhere.
I'll sit here.
I'll sit here. Look, I'm at the end. That lady can see me. Everybody else can see us. What more do we need? Well, it's Rally GB week. It is dark now, but it wasn't when I came. Doesn't feel right, does it? But it's here.
And a little bit warm for Rally GB as well.
Yeah, it is. 16 degrees today on the way up, like. Dust. Last week when all these cars were testing, it's unheard of.
It is. Where's the ice and snow?
It's going to be fast though, isn't it? Hell, it's going to be fast. Meherin and Havren and Sweet Lamb and they're like motorways. They haven't had a rally in Meherin this year. Do you know that? They're beautiful. The stages are in ultimate condition. You know.
That's a shame though, isn't it? It's a shame to only be in there once a year.
Oh, it's. But I can't wait. Like it's like I'm like a kid at Christmas, just chomping at the presents, like.
I bet you normally chomp at them before Christmas as well, don't you?
I have been known to open my presents a couple of weeks before, check what's in there, and then wrap them back up. Like.
I bet you sniff them, don't you? I bet you don't wrap up the food.
Oh no. And we got a few guests tonight.
Have we got guests? Not just us.
Oh, there's supposed to be a list on the table, but there isn't one here. Well, have you got one?
Thankfully, I've got a list.
Great. But we've got a guy here tonight, and we're going to get him up first, because he is chomping. He's the serious chomper. He's won the BTRDA series. He had won the Welsh Championship on Thursday, but on Friday they put something out to say, don't say anything because there's something to do with the tie break situation. And there's a fair chance if he finishes fourth in the National British Championship part of the rally, he's going to win the British Championship. So what a stellar he's had. So let's welcome on stage the Swift Caravans rally team driver and navigator. Can't remember his name. Fuck. Matt Edwards and Darren Garrod. Do you know when you have that little blank moments? Do you ever have them? Is there anybody that's 55 here? Does it get worse or better?
Howard, they don't want to sit near you. I mean, it's
Fine.
nothing personal, but...
Fine. Never mind. Guys, what a year. Explain the crack now. What is the situation with this rally and the championship? When do you win the championship, like?
Potentially, if we finish fourth on Friday, on the first major leg, we win the British Championship.
Can you actually believe that, what you've just said?
It's 15 years waiting to be able to say it, yeah, so it's pretty surreal, to be honest. We've obviously had a fantastic year together and quite privileged to have done so much mileage in a fantastic car. And like I said, sitting here last year, we probably had a similar conversation to what we wanted to achieve this year, and I think we've surpassed all our expectations.
But you're a Llandudno boy, and you don't want to finish. You don't want to win on Friday, do you? You want to win in Llandudno in front of the home crowd. You want to legally do donuts down the main street in Llandudno, which you've been doing all your life at midnight because you were a Bob car racer, weren't you? Huh? You want to go like that to the sergeant in Llandudno as you're driving down Mostyn Street, doing a donut legally.
To be honest, I'd rather get it out of the way on Friday.
And not only British Championship, but as Howard just said, BTRDA as well. Has that ever been done before, both in one year?
Apparently not, no. I'm really pleased we've won the BTRDA because it's a championship I've done, on and off for the last 10 years. So to get that championship in the bag as well is a real sentimental thing for me. And my father's been involved with all the events, for a long, long time as well. So we were really pleased to win that as well.
But you're on the big stage this weekend, and you want to win the British Championship, but I guess in some ways that puts you in a difficult position because you also want to put yourself in the shop window in WRC too.
Yeah, I mean, as I said at the start, we've waited 15 years for this chance, so I'm not going to put any WRC2 ambitions ahead of that, until potentially Friday's out the way with, and things can happen. Brenning's a very slippy, treacherous stage this year and new to everybody, so we're not counting our chickens yet. We still, there's a fair chance we might need to do something Saturday and Sunday to sort the British out, but hopefully that goes to plan Friday and we can have a good go Saturday, Sunday with we've always gone well when we've enjoyed driving the car. So if we can get the nervous bit out of the way with and enjoy Saturday and Sunday, we'll hopefully have some good times.
What about stages? I mean, what's your favourite day? Which is the day you're looking forward to the most? Because North Wales boy, Clocainog and Brennig and Clockwell. Beautiful stages then on Saturday, and really shitty, horrible stages on Sunday to finish rock boulder strewn LC in Gwydir. It's going to be a bit of a nightmare on Sunday, isn't it?
To be honest, it's what I've grown. Most of the
you broke that now, look.
I'm really comfortable in Penmachno and those sorts of stages. So I think it's just a mindset thing. You go into them not looking to take every big cut and just keep it in the middle of the road like we have done all year, to be honest. So I don't think the mindset's going to change at all.
Where does this deal come from then? Because to be fair, a couple of years ago, 2 or 3 years ago, we went to surround some schools in North Wales, and you were telling me, you were struggling to get things together, and you were just rallying an R2 Fiesta, and out of the blue, this God has opened up and given you a fantastic car. How did it all come about? Talk us through how it works. How has it worked?
It started near enough 10 years ago now. We were doing the BTRDA Championship in a 49 MG, and Pete Smith was, competing behind us in a Mark II Escort, and he just wondered who this guy was a couple of cars ahead of him on the leaderboard in a 1400 car that shouldn't be there, and that relationship's grown year on year, and he's given me a little bit more, and I've done a little bit more to match it every year since, and it's culminated in basically him getting the company on board, and the whole Swift group and the whole company are massively behind us, and it's a privilege to be involved at this level.
So what's the next step? What's for next year?
I don't really know. Peter and the team there, they keep me working, and just reward the effort as and when things come about. So I'm just keeping my head down and look after this weekend first, and then we'll see what the future brings.
Now, Howard, I guess been a co-driver. We should really bring Darren in at this point. Darren, what's it been like to sit alongside Matt this year? You've had a busy year again as well, but what's it been like sitting alongside Matt?
Obviously I've had a busy year with other things that I'm doing, but I started with Matt beginning of 2017. We had a short test in Walters, and we kind of gelled together, and we just worked on from there. What I want to say about Matt is how hard he works pre-event. Compared to a lot of other drivers I've sat with, Matt puts so much effort in pre-event. So it makes recce quite easy. And and he's developed his notes, and he's definitely got the hang of the R5 now. So no, it's been a good season.
And what else have you been up to?
That's what I'm thinking now. So I've done Finland. I'm doing bits out in Latvia with a young kid. I did Ireland with him a couple of weeks ago as well. He's a driver that Matt is helping out, and I'm doing the co-driving for him. Obviously did Barbados again, which is one of my favourite events. Where else have I been doing this year?
Barbados, man.
Yeah.
The Bejans.
You've been there as well, Howard.
Fantastic rally.
Do you know I was doing the end of stage interviews? You might remember. It's the only end of stage interviewer I've ever known who answers his own questions.
Oh, you were there as well, eh? You were there as well. You went to Barbados this year, didn't you? Oh, it's fantastic, isn't it? It's just one massive big piss up with a rally in the middle. It is, isn't it? Huh?
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. After the event, Howard.
But no, before as well. But you know what? You say you're Barbados, it's in the middle of the wherever it is, it's miles away, and it's a long way, like.
Caribbean.
But the hell is some nice cars there.
Yeah,
some of those home-built, space-framed Toyota Starlight lookalikes, incredible things, like.
Yeah, and they've spent, the guys who have got them Starlights, say they're World Rally Car, man.
Yeah.
And they're still spending on them, but they go well in the dry.
It's a 320 BMW with 420 horsepower. And I watched him off the start line, and there was just two massive big black marks. They're wild, like, it's a great rally to go and watch.
Yeah, it's
and
fantastic.
If you're into rallying and you want to go con the wife into a holiday, go to Barbados for the rally week, and, she can lie in the sun and you watch a rally. And it's really accessible, it's really good, and a good opportunity. And you seem to have found your niche there, because you're going out there now, aren't you, for the winter rally as well?
Well, I had to miss the, I think it was Sun and Stars a couple of weeks ago, because I was in Wexford, and Rob finished second on that. I think we finished second on every event we've done there last year and this year. Oh no, we came third on King of the Hill this year, but second on the main event. We can't beat that.
He's done that many rallies this year, he doesn't know where he is.
And you think of tarmac, it's not tarmac, it's like millions of potholes joined up together with broken tarmac.
Yeah,
but
it's
the tarmac
bumpy,
is rock hard. And there's no tyre marks, is there? Hardly.
No, you're right, it's bumpy tarmac, but that's
It's an
just
incredible
potholes
surface.
repaired. Yeah,
Incredible
right.
surface. I remember out there once wrecking, and we run up the arse of somebody, and it was so hot, and all the plastic on the car it just sort of moulded into the back of the car, and then when we reversed out, it all popped out. There was no damage. It's bloody brilliant rally to go and do. And it's not that expensive to actually compete on, is it? Your car isn't away for a long time now. They've got the job organised. Like.
Yeah, no, they're great organisers, and like you said, great experience, great fun rally to do,
It's
isn't
fantastic. As I said, it's one of my favourite events, and I've done a few events over the years, and that draws me back.
And in some ways, Matt, you've probably experienced it this year, and you'll experience it this weekend. And the high level you compete at, sometimes the fun goes out of it a little bit, doesn't it?
You always look back on an event, afterwards and think of the fun you're having, but, at the time you're fully in the moment and you concentrate on it, what is a serious job now, and, every event, takes a lot of preparation, a lot of time away, and, it was great to do the event in the theatre at the weekend, because it at least distracted me for a weekend doing something completely irrelevant to this weekend. So, but you're right, it does become it overlaps from a hobby into a job, and, I'm lucky enough to make my living doing what I love doing, so it's, it's a privilege to be able to do it.
I've had a little whisper in my ear. Some of our other guests are here now. So I'd like to welcome onto the stage Mr. Malcolm Wilson, Chairman of M Sport, and Citroen Works rally driver Craig Breen, who's down on a pint by the bar. Now you can... Now, Matt, this is orchestrated. You can stay there now, and we can obviously ask Malcolm what he thought of your performance this year, and has he got any plans for you for next year? Because apparently he's looking for a driver. Craigie boy, and for Craig of those, we'll get the interpretation notes coming up behind us now. for the give the paddy a bone. Guys, welcome. Thank you very much. I know you've got a busy schedule, and we're very grateful to you for fitting us in. You both clocked in 30 minutes early, but we won't worry about that anyway. Well, you made all the news in the last few weeks, haven't you, in fairness? It's been a bittersweet 2 years. I spoke to you a month ago so and asked you about the continuation of keeping Ogier in the team, and you said, well, it'll depend on a lot of factors, but last week the big announcement that he's leaving Cockermouth and bound for Paris. There's no point asking if you're disappointed, because he brought to the team something very special, which gave you a manufacturer's win and a driver's win. So how much of a gut wrench is it for you?
Well, first of all, it's been, nothing can basically surpass last year. You can imagine, I think it's nearly 2 years since we were sat on this stage together.
No, it's 3 years since we sat here. We did the deal. I still haven't had my commission, actually.
And you're not likely to get it
No,
either.
no, I know. No. I know that.
You've had enough bloody money out of me over the years.
I will honestly say that Malcolm used to pay me to go and watch rallies. You could actually explain it like that. I had to do a few other things. I had to get up very early in the morning. I had to measure the temperature, and I had to check the weather. But that was part of the course. But I tell you what, no taking a piss, I had some great times. And I'm not looking back. I've had a good time, and I was happy. And we had a good crack to my boss. And if nothing else, I made you laugh when you had all that bad news, like.
Yeah, and even...
Ate a lot of pies.
And I even offered him $5,000 if he would lose weight, because I was that concerned about his health.
I'm still here, look. 10 years on. 10 years on, that waste of $5,000 would it be, wouldn't it?
So Howard, while we're on that, how much did Seat pay you to actually lose weight? Because that worked.
Yeah, that was about $5,000, wasn't it? Yeah. And let's not talk about the weight. Fucking, I come away for the weekend, I get fucking nagged. 10 pence. I bet I'll outlive all of you. Anyway, evaded the question. Nice little way of getting out of that. This Ogier job, like, why has he gone? Is it not sustainable? Was the Citroen offer so massive, or was Henry not willing to stump up the difference? What? Why?
I think that's a question you'll have to ask Seb. No, I mean, at the end of the day, there's no secret. We tried to keep him because, as you say, what he brought to the team was something quite special. The attention to detail of both him and Julian was quite remarkable to see. But it was. I also felt at the time that we had such a good car in our new car that, and I'd never lost the confidence that we still had the ability as a team and what have you to win. But of course, when you get somebody like Sebastian joining you and you see the level of commitment and dedication and attention to detail that those two put in, then it just has an incredible effect on everybody within the company. It just makes everybody give that extra little bit of 5%, makes everybody raise the game. That's why we didn't employ you again, Howard, because we knew you couldn't raise your game.
Yeah, I did all the deal, got Ogier, and then got the sack. Like, I didn't even get the P45 even. You talked about attention to detail, but you've worked with some of them top players, Carlos, Colin, you've worked with them, you've had them in the team. Was he just another league again, was he?
No, I think there's many similarities between Carlos and Sebastian, but I think, Julian is a big influence as well. So yeah, as a package, there's no question, they were definitely the most committed and dedicated, and it's just one little thing when we had all the drivers and co-drivers at the end of the year to look over the cars and sort of our 2-day briefing as to how we were going to attack the season. And Seb and Julian were down in the workshop, and Daniel and Elvin and what have you, they're all there as well. But Julian's there and he's got the toolkit out and he's taken a photograph of every single tool that's in the toolkit, where it goes in the tool bag, and I could just see the other drivers and co-drivers standing there thinking, shit, we better get our act together.
Tell me, just talking about tool roll and tools out, how impressed were you in Turkey when he actually repaired the car? Because I didn't think he'd be able to do it. I thought to myself, he ain't going to be able to do it.
No, it is a very, very difficult job to do, and to be honest, I did think that he probably wouldn't be able to do it, but and he didn't actually, believe it or not, complete the job. He actually got one of the bolts in the rear wishbone, but the bolt was bent, so he couldn't even get any thread engagement. So basically, what he did was he just wrapped a ratchet strap around to hold the bolt in. And if you think that he went on those stages after that, did the fastest time by far.
By 11 seconds?
By 11 seconds with a bolt held in with a ratchet strap.
Is that why you had to pay him so much, you reckon? That's the calibre of the guy.
Well, that's what you pay for.
Yeah, that's what you paid for, I guess. That was special, wasn't it? That was a real wow moment, like.
Yeah, and then, of course, even the next stage after that, I mean, when he was 19 Ks into the stage, he actually got back into the lead of the rally again, from fourth to first. Okay, he then slid off, which... I have to tell you, again, even last week, he's still on to me, that has really hurt him because it was a silly mistake. He just kept saying to me, I can't understand how I made a silly mistake.
He doesn't do it, does he? He doesn't do it.
He doesn't normally do it. And that has really, it has really hurt him. And of course, it cost him the lead in the championship.
So what's the crack now for next year? What are you going to do? How are you going to come out of this? What's the plan? Because you'll come out smelling the roses again, like you'll come out on top of shit again, won't you? Somehow or other. Because you always do. You're a fantastic businessman, and you run a fantastic team there. You run a really tight ship, so it's not going to beat you. Are you sitting next to a potential one of your drivers now?
I think I will come out on top because I think next year I'm going to spend some time on the beach.
Because what's the motivation? You've won the World Championship last year. You've had a great year this year. You've got shitloads of money under the bed. You sleep on double beds. You've got everything you want. Like, why not just say, bollocks to this? I'm off. Like, to lie on the beach. Where is the motivation? 25 years ago, you came third overall in this rally in the snow. Like 25 years ago. I mean, Christ, I haven't lived in my existing house 25 years. It's a massive amount of time. That's a quarter of a century. And you're still...
So it is time that I really stepped away.
No, I'm just... No, because you're giving a lot of people a lot of enjoyment. You're giving a lot of people employment. You got Matt Edwards over there. You got some homegrown Irish talent here in the Spud Man. What is the future? Because there's a lot of... I know it gives you a lot of pleasure to help these guys.
Yeah, but I think, at the end of the day, to do what we do with the rest of the business, I always class the WRC as our showcase as to what we are capable of. Sadly, the last 2 years, the business side hasn't been anything like what it was previously. Historically, we always sold between 8 and 14 WRC cars a year. This new generation of car, as good as it is and as fantastic as it is, and the fact that the sport's probably in the best place it's ever been, we've only sold 2 WRC cars in 20 months. So, that's had a big impact on us commercially. So...
I didn't think you could sell these current World Rally cars. I didn't think privateers could drive them.
Yes,
is that an FIA myth?
No. I mean, there's some rallies you can do, but I mean, even so, we haven't had the customers of the uptake, even on WRC events that we would normally have had. So, I've just basically got to take stock. But, to be honest, the main priority at the minute is we've got 3 events left. We are on the back foot for Seb winning the championship, but it's still doable. And I personally believe if anybody can do it, it is him.
Yeah. That would be fantastic, wouldn't it? So, current drivers on the stage here next year. Now, what opportunities are there for young Matt there? Done an exceptional job this year. He's wiped the floor with Britain, like. Are you able to give him a hand up, like, somewhere? Is he in your plans?
I think he's got a guy who's given him a good hand at the minute. And obviously we work quite closely with Peter. And it's fair to say, we are discussing I'm not going to say too much because he's got a rally to go and win this weekend before he knows what he's doing next year, really, doesn't he?
Good. But he's on the list. He's on the plan.
Yeah, for sure. I mean,
Brilliant.
as I say, we've got a good working relationship with Peter.
Fantastic achievement this year to win those championships, in fairness.
Yeah, he's done a great job. What can you say? Just, it's a shame that the Manx was cancelled, because then it would have been great for him to come here and just be able to attack from day one. So, but he's got a job to do on the first day, and then hopefully he can get the British Championship in the bag, and then really go and measure himself on days 2 and 3.
Okay. What about the driver lineup for next year? Can you tell us anything about that? Anything at all?
Nothing.
You've got a Finn in your team. You've got a Finn in your team, haven't you?
We have a Finn in our team.
Definitely. You're running a Finn.
We should. Yeah, hopefully, if everything goes to plan, we'll be running a Finn, yeah.
And can you tell us who was potentially in the other car then, or is there going to be? It's obviously a potential. There's a choice. I get there's a choice of an Irishman and 2 Irishmen and a Welshman, really. So you could tell us now that there'll be a Brit of some nationality.
Oh, careful.
Well, you don't want to play, do you? So you've obviously signed for Citroen then.
Malcolm, just changing the subject slightly.
No, don't do that.
We're not going to get here.
I've never had him squirming like this for a long time. Till I reversed into his hire car in Japan.
I'm not squirming, but I'm not going to say anything else.
Okay, fantastic. 93, third overall. Kankkunen won. Ericsson was second. You were third. Probably one of your best results. How well do you remember that?
I had plenty of attempts to try and get that third.
I can say that. I'm not taking a piss. I'm being nice to you now.
No, it was probably my best result, because again we were, it was the Michelin pilot car running as a private team. I mean,
the beginning of the sport and really.
I think we were the only private entry basically in the top 10. All the rest were factory cars.
And I think you beat Delacour as well, didn't you? You beat the factory car.
Yeah, we were the first Ford home as well. So yeah, that was definitely one of my best results on Rally GP.
What do you remember from that then?
The difficult conditions in Kielder and Yorkshire. Full snow with basically no studs. It wasn't pleasurable.
You didn't have any studs, do we? Had studs.
Well, I'm not surprised. If there's anybody who could cheese it, would be you.
Oh! Craig Breen, you've been very, very, very patient there, and I know you've got to go home and do some rally porn and watch some videos as you do. But how excited are you now to go and do Wales Rally GB? You had a disastrous time in Turkey. You had a hell of a barbecue, didn't you, in fairness, like? I could see them running up with chickens and putting them up like a car.
I'm surprised I didn't see you.
That's what I'd have been doing,
Yeah.
I don't want to waste that heat.
I was waiting for you to make an appearance over the mountain, chicken in hand. But no.
I felt for you there. I felt for you because
Did you really?
No, you're passionate about the rally. You're passionate about that. That is one of the worst things to see is that car going up in smoke like that, because it's total loss, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just nothing. It's horrible to stand back and you're so helpless. And I'll say it out loud: the fire extinguishers are not worth anything. You may as well have been taking a piss on it. It was horrible just to stand there, and you're so helpless. And
it was actually quite amazing because you stopped in the stage to check, and nothing to be seen.
Yeah, we stopped three times in the stage, and then again at the stop line. I kind of came to the stop line, kind of watching everybody's expressions. I didn't know if there was going to be a big ball of flames behind me, and then no one would seem to be looking at it anyway bad at all, and everything had sort of cooled down by the end of the stage. And then we went a couple of K up the road just to work on the car, and whenever we jacked it up, I don't know if maybe there was a crack in the fuel tank or something, and when fuel spilled onto something, it ignited and up she went.
So what about this weekend? How are you feeling? You've had a good test. Did you have a test in the dry or the wet?
I did. Not a cloud in the sky.
You had you had dust, didn't you, from what I saw?
Yeah, beautiful day in Havern. So I don't know what's happened between here and then, because it's fairly wet. It's fairly wet back in there again. It's basically like been in the rally in November. The stages are wet, muddy, and slippy, and I suppose we don't know any different now from over the years. So it'll be the same challenge like always.
What about that new stage, Slate Mountain? You can say, don't say too much, because Alan Edwards' lad is there. You might know. What do you make of it?
That's nice.
Oh, is it? Honestly.
Slatey, I have a few
It's
slates.
slatey.
You could get a few roof tiles out of it, to be fair, yeah. But no, it's nice. I think it looks like there's a lot of roads there that you can perhaps even make it a bit
Expand.
longer. So, yeah. No,
Do you think
it's-
it has its place on Friday then? Is it going to, do you think it'll work?
Yeah, definitely, and I think it's going to be quite hard on the tyres. And it's a fairly long loop before we get there. So it'll be interesting to see how the whole thing pans out. But yeah, it's nice. Looks like it'll be spectator friendly as well. So it's nice to get stages like that in there.
Fantastic.
Checks in the
can
post,
you,
Craig.
can you sorry. Can you shed any light on next year at all? Who are you talking to? Are you staying where you are? Is there other talks going on? Are you? No. Is it too early?
Yeah, okay. Yeah, there's talks going on, definitely. It's okay. What's happened in the last couple of days and what's been announced with Seb coming, of course, that changes things a little bit on my side. So I will be quietly confident that I'll have some program next year. Where I'll be and what I'm doing, I'm not 100% sure, but I'm sure that from the progress that's been made, even in those last couple of days, I will be quietly confident that we can find something.
Just one question. Before you tested, I see Loeb turned up, obviously to get his gravel test for Spain in. What was it like working with him? Did you have some time to talk to him? Did you have some time to spend with him? Is he still as he always was?
Do that again? Do. Yeah, like that. No, it was. I missed this test with him. To be honest, he was on the first day. I was on the last day, so I didn't get to it. But I did a full day on tarmac with him before Germany, and that was pretty amazing, I have to say.
What did you learn from him?
Smooth and his efficiency with testing. He was incredibly consistent with how he drove the car, and I think we all normal rally drivers, when we get a piece of road, you want to extract the maximum out of it as much as you can. But he really stimulates a rally. Every run he does, it's absolutely the same amount of effort, the same amount of speed, and then he gets such a better and truer perspective of how the test is going and what changes he's making with the car, rather than simply just taking everything he can out of it. And like from his first run in the morning to nearly in the afternoon, he'd only gone like a second faster or something like that, or not even. He'd just been so consistent all day, made the car exactly how he wanted it, and then bang out of nowhere he went 3 or 4 seconds faster. And he's like, yeah, that works.
Fantastic.
Do you know what I mean? So that from that side, I have to say it gave me a completely different understanding of how to manage a test properly and how to get the most out of it. So that was really interesting. And then out of the car, straight into the chopper and out the gap. So I'll not be doing that for a while.
No messing about.
But it sounds like you really learnt from that then.
Yeah. Well, I should hope so, really. You kind of have to when you have a situation like that. So that was fantastic. It was great. Probably should have done better than the rally after, to be fair, after spending a full day with a guy that's won it however many odd times. So. But no, it was really good. From that perspective alone, it was really fantastic, and it opened my eyes. And I suppose I was always brought up around every opportunity you get to drive a rally car, you take it by the scruff of the neck and you take whatever the hell you can out of it. But when you're testing for these rallies, you have to prepare yourself to be driving on a road, first pass that you've only done, 2 runs in the recce and straight at it in the rally. It's not the same as driving at absolute 11 tenths on a test road. So that, I have to say, I really, really learned a lot, and it changed my mind completely about how to approach tests and stuff like that. So that was really good.
And slightly off topic, there's a 6R4 back in the family.
Oh, yeah.
I think you've been waiting for that for a while, haven't you?
Yeah. We've been rummaging and rooting for 6R4 for years and years. So, just last week it landed back in Tom Gahan's workshop. So I went up. I was home on Friday, and I went up for a bit of a. Actually, I landed up to Tom's, and I opened the door, and I just opened the door, and I got a text message from Pierre. Pierre to tell me that we're going to announce that Seb is coming today. And I fired Tom the phone. I put a full drum of fuel into it, and I came back an hour and a half later. So I vented my frustration out the back roads with the 6R4. So it was, but no, an awesome piece of kit. My dad rallied one for years and years. And my first memories of rallying was standing on a ditch, watching the 6R4 coming for miles and miles. You know, being able to purposely stand in the middle of a stage and hear him starting it, and then there'd be normally 2 or 3 guys around him in 6R4s, but there was a couple of clubman ones. His one had the 2.5, and it sounded a bit different, and you'd know he was on the way. And I can still remember the sound to this day. So to finally have our own back in the garage now and to give it a rap, it's yeah, pretty awesome.
Malcolm, I'm not sure how fond your memories are of the 6R4, but
Have you got one? Have you got a 6R4?
no.
I sell you a good one.
But having said that, you were probably in quite a unique position back then to drive 3 factory Group B cars with the Audi, the Metro, and then of course the RS200.
Yeah, you wouldn't be as excited, Craig, if you'd had to drive one on rallies like we did. That's for sure. It was sadly, you know, the Peugeot, the Lancia, at that point in time, basically they're at least 100, 150 horsepower more, Quattro even more. So, you know, that was the one thing that was really lacking, to be honest. A good car in UK where power and everything wasn't so important. But no, I think my 2 least favourite cars, there's obviously 2 cars that I don't have that I drove, was the RS200 and the Metro, to be honest.
And the RS200 as well. Why was that then?
I think the RS200 had incredible potential, but, you know, we needed to shed 150 kilos off it. The car was too heavy, but suspension-wise and everything, for sure, it had the best suspension of any of the Group B cars, and on the rough rallies, it was incredible. But it just basically the big thing was weight, and obviously, you know, the time to develop, and then of course, then when the cars were banned, all the emphasis was then took off investing any more money. So, yeah, it was probably what put a big dampener on sort of my career. You know, you had a 3-year contract with Austin Rover, and then of course, when the cars was banned at the end of the year, then they didn't have a follow-on car. So obviously, I wasn't alone. There was obviously quite a few people, and it was out of a drive.
Now, obviously, it was hard for your career at the time. You were fighting for your career, but I guess looking back at the rally we have now, Wales Rally GB, the RAC rallies it was then, I mean, to have competed on that event in the mid-'80s, looking back, it must bring back special memories, though.
Yeah, I mean, it's, to be honest, I mean, even events like Turkey brought back memories of things like what the Acropolis rally and that used to be like, you know, really difficult. Because, you know, normally the car leaves the service and the guys, they don't have a lot to do now, and the technicians and everything on rallies, okay, the engineers have a lot to do, but Turkey was just incredible. It was just like going back sort of 15 years to an old Acropolis where you've got a rally that's really, really hard on the car, you know, to the point where at one service we had all 12 mechanics working on Seb's car, and poor old Elvin's having to repair his own car. But there's a sense of achievement and satisfaction for all the mechanics. It was just, it was a great feeling to see them putting so much effort in and getting the reward. And then, of course, you know, the performance that Seb was doing was quite special.
Do you think there's a place in the championship for those kinds of rallies? Do you think the championship's got a little bit sanitised and made it a little bit too easy, and, you know, the events, the reliability is there now? Do you think we need some rough and tumble rallies?
I think, you know, there is a place. I mean, I must admit, when I was stood there on the rally, I was just thinking, wow, gosh, how can I leave this sport? Because honestly, it just reinvigorated a lot of great memories from the difficult rallies, because those are the rallies that I really used to enjoy. You know, we were so strong on Acropolis, Cyprus, Argentina, the difficult events. So, you know, but I thought that at the time, but then you start to count up the cost of the bits that was going on the car at lunchtime, and by evening I thought, shit, no, we don't want Turkey in the championship.
Somebody said it was a bumper going on the car every service. That's something like $9,000 a pop.
Yeah, you've got it, Howard.
Somebody said. Bet that hurt, didn't it? Christ.
Bloody did.
Get them back in there and rebuild them bumpers. Hey guys, it's been fantastic to speak to you here. I know you've given up your time. Really grateful that you've come. But it's your night, and I'm just going to ask one question to each of our panel now from the floor. If you're not fast, we're going to give it up. So, any questions? For Malcolm. Well, I can't believe it. Go on then, young lad. Gus Greensmith.
Gus Greensmith. Yeah, I mean, we were just been doing some analysis of Gus in relation, Germany last year, Germany this year against the likes of Eric Kameny, and he's making really good progress. So yeah, I think next year's a really sort of crucial year for him. But we're definitely happy with the progress he's making in terms of how his pace is just getting closer and closer to where he needs to be. So yeah, he's very committed, very dedicated. I just hope that we can find a way that he can do more events, because doing as many of the WRC events as you can is crucial to getting up the ladder as quick as you possibly can.
Question for Craig.
Oh, take her to the hill, sir. Yeah, that is the plan. I haven't told my father that yet, but that is the plan.
6.4s in Donegal, look out.
Yeah, we've got a little bit of work to get done to it. I want to put it on a different set of dampers and have a few other bits and pieces. But if I go, I want it to be done right and make sure that we have a chance of giving the modified a rattle. So yes, that is the plan.
Question for Matt and Darren over there. BRC. Don't leave him out. Come on, boys, please.
It did go, yes, unfortunately. It did the RAC 2 years ago. I believe it got sold again then, but I certainly fancy trying to get hold of it again at some point after driving the Fiat and getting the historic taste again last weekend, yeah, for sure.
We'll have to ask question for Darren, won't we?
Yeah, do you like Chinese food yet from doing the Chinese Championship?
Yeah, we're used to Chinese food now, it's no problem.
The Chinese food in China isn't like the Chinese you get down the road, is it?
No, it is actually, I prefer it in China than
right.
here.
What,
So
duck's
it's a
feet
bit
and
more
all
taste
that?
in it. Over
Chicken feet. Yeah. Duck's tongues.
here. Where did we go? Indonesia, do you remember? Oh, Christ.
Right, Howard, we need to let Matt and Darren go to an FIA meeting.
Oh, look out. Hey, guys, thank you very much indeed. And I think we're going to say goodnight to Malcolm and to Craig as well. Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you.
Always a pleasure. Thank you to Anna and to Rich Milner from Ford, and thank you to Citroen for releasing Craig. Good luck on the rally. Have a good one. And let's see you up there, boy. Right. Who are we on now, then? Oh, you're coming over here now?
I'll come over and sit near you. Don't want you to feel left out.
Tell me, how hot was it in that car with Craig Thorley in Barbados?
I'm not sure Craig Thorley added to the heat, but yeah, no, it's, 34 degrees?
He would just emanate heat because he's a big lump in like me, like.
34, 35 degrees.
In the car, can you imagine
No,
that?
well, outside. So inside was hotter. But while we're on Barbados, I think you should maybe just tell the story about the final stage of the rally. I think it was 10 years ago. You did it with Steve Perez in a Focus World Rally car. Now, on the final stage, there was a big jump.
I'll go back before the final stage. You know when you get through the rally and you've got one stage left, you think, oh, that's a bit of a relief, innit? And you just relax that little bit. You just got to find my way now to Bushy Park and the final stage. Rally was over. So I just relaxed a little bit and I got lost. Now, it's not a very big island, right? But there's a shitload of roads there. And to find my way to Bushy Park, I could not find Bushy Park. And I came to this roundabout 3 times, and in the end, Steve twigged and he said, "I've been here before." "Oh, have we? Christ." Try that other road then. Anyway, it ended up stopping and asking some woman, "Excuse me, where's Bushy Park?" "Hey man, where do you want to go?" "Bushy Park." "To the racetrack," because you've got to talk to them like they talk. They don't understand. So I said, "Excuse me, old dear, where's Bushy Park?" They wouldn't understand. So I said, "Hey, where do you see Bushy Park racetrack?" "Up there, turn left, turn right, turn left." So we got there. Anyway, we get there. We're the last car. Look at him laughing there. He knows it's true. So we get there, we're the last car, they're waiting to start the stage, and we're the last car to get there. No problem with times and all that shit, don't worry about it, it's all over. So we had a look at this stage on the Thursday, and we get there, and there's this bridge, and there's a ramp up there, and there's a piece across the top, and there's a down ramp, but the down ramp's about 6 foot too short. And there's a guy there with a concrete mixer and a few concrete blocks, and he's like, "Hey man, what are you doing with the ramp?" "Oh man, the ramp is taking the time. It's so hot, man. You can't make the ramp so fast. But we will finish the ramp by the rally. Don't worry, don't worry." So
I'm not sure which country he was from. But
He was from Poland. Anyway, we get to Bushy Park, and I looked over and I noticed, Christ, he hadn't finished the ramp. There's about 2 foot missing off the bottom of it, and they filled it in with soil. It's a bit dodgy, I thought. We don't want to be landing in there, do we? So off we go into the stage now, big biz. And were we chasing somebody? Was it side by side?
Yeah,
was
two,
it Birdie?
two cars at once, over and under. Yeah.
I think it was Birdie, and Steve, massive big fight. Anyway, we come to approach this jump now, and I said to Steve, go on, Steve, have another gear. And I think he was in about second, and he pulled it into third, and we hit this ramp, right? And all I saw was sky, right? I know that little 2 foot of soil, that's the Bayesian had forgot to put the concrete in. We landed on our nose in that, right? And I'm telling you, the Till and M Sport went 25 grand. Malcolm and John Steele both woke up in bed in the UK. They were so excited at the damage. The gear lever touching the dash. And there was a guy who took a picture, and it was definitely 6 foot in the air, wasn't it?
Yeah, at least.
The car was supposed to be sold and staying out there, but they had to ship it back to straighten it before they could send it back out.
Hey, I tell you what, another thought from that rally.
It was wild.
Just come back to me now.
I had a little bit of a stiff neck, actually.
You also had a special pair of race overalls for that rally, I seem to remember.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, you did.
No, I didn't.
Yes, you did.
No, I didn't.
Go on. Now, Howard clearly, before that rally...
I had to go and do the Manx, right, as a bit of a run-up to this rally, a bit of a test. And a couple of nights before I was going to the Elemanth, I thought, better try the old race suit on, like, in case I've had too many burgers. And the zips, no lie, right? The zips were there. And as much as I pulled and tugged and huffed and puffed and lay on the floor and rolled around, I could not get the zips to meet in the middle. So I said to the wife, tell you what, get the Stanley knife, cut a slit in the back. So she cuts a slit in the back, and sure enough, the zips. So I said, all I got to do now is put a patch in the back where the slit is. The only thing I had which was black was a black Mitsubishi fleece. So down the road to see the local seamstress, who I used to look after a boiler, it was no problem. 9 o'clock at night, yeah, can you do this for me? Oh, of course I can, Howard, darling, no problem. So I picked it up the following morning, sure enough, black Nomex with a great big black skateboard in the back. The problem was, it probably wasn't homologated or Pro-Ban. So I had to scurry around, I had to walk around everywhere with a coat on until I got in the car, because I didn't want to scrutiny to see it, otherwise I got chucked out. But when I went to Barbados, it didn't matter, did it, anyway?
No, it'd be nice and warm.
It was. Yeah. Oh, Christ, there you go.
Now maybe on Barbados, it would be a good time to get a man up who I think was the first Englishman to do Rally Barbados. So...
would you stop creeping up on me? Fucking hell. Huh?
So on that note, let's bring up Mr. Kevin Ferber, the owner of the T16, in the corner. Round of applause for Kevin, please.
There's a step over there, boss. No.
Now, Kevin, when did you first go to Barbados? What year was that?
1990.
Make yourself at home, by the way.
I will. Yeah, my big memory was works driver at the time for Peugeot, invited to go to Barbados. Finished third overall in a Group N car, which is these days is almost impossible to do, so it was a good result. But a crazy rally. But being young as I was, only 22 or something, and being invited to go out there, Des Adele had given me, when I was doing an RAC rally for the Works team, he'd given me a blazer, a black blazer, my Works British standard cotton shirt and a tie. And I thought, being a Works driver, I've got to represent the team, come off the plane with my outfit on. Fucking hell, can I tell you how hot that was? And the press were waiting when I got off the plane. And he said, can we do an interview with you? And I'm trying my best to look dignified in English. Yeah, but now I'm ready to faint. And I thought, it's just the heat of the aeroplane. And I actually said to the person interviewing me, can we just go somewhere else? Because the heat of the engine's just like killing me. And they all burst out laughing. And they used it on Barbadian TV to say it. And everybody took the mickey out of me, saying, is the engine still following you around? Yeah, because that's
It
one
is
hot
like that,
rally.
though, isn't it?
It is. It's hot
It is like
everywhere.
standing underneath or next to a really hot car.
But they loved it, I've got to say. If you ever want to impress the Barbadians, go with a tie on. It's a cool thing to do.
Now, you just said at the time you were part of the Peugeot team. Des O'Dell was the famous team manager who'd been there for a long time by that point, through the Toivonen days, and had Malcolm Wilson driving for him, amongst others, in 205s. Johnny Milner as your teammate, I think, at that time. 205 was some car, really, at that point.
Yeah, we sort of forget, because I've got my original prize drive for winning the Peugeot Challenge back in '89. 1.3 works car, I've still got it. And in period, that was a £35,000 car in 1989. And we finished 19th overall on an RAC rally. And I sort of look at it now, it's just a 1.320 horsepower. It's a lovely car, it's my favourite car I've ever driven. It's really well balanced. But at the time, that was, well, it was in the top 20 of a WRC rally. So it was a superb car. But now you look at it and think, God, how much things have developed.
Well, a little bit different to the other 205 that you own in the corner. So, an original car from 1986. Tell us a little bit about the 205 T16.
First of all, tell us how much it's worth.
I can't tell you.
You can't.
200 grand.
200 grand. Jesus Christ.
I'll tell you how that came about, though, because I don't have 200 grand.
I would have thought you'd been worth more than that, you know.
It could be. I'm being nice about that. But I'll tell you the story of it. Originally, when I was, Des O'Dell was my team boss. He's a great guy. He's a proper old school person. The sort of team boss who fights in pit lanes with other team bosses, punches them. And I've so many stories about Des I can't tell you, but he's absolutely a living legend. And I can remember being the driver and being under pressure at one point, fighting with Johnny Milner for a class when we were both driving for Des. And I came back with the excuse of, I had a puncher. I was winning, but I had a puncher. And he said, it's your fault. I said, how can a puncher be my fault? You're the driver. Johnny didn't get a puncher. He's a better driver than you. I was like, oh, that's a bit of a game changer, isn't it? So he was full for confrontation. And he did make a massive difference. And finding Toivonen and working with people like Toivonen when he did, was a real inspiration for me to be around. And listening to Craig Breen and other drivers now, it's lovely to see Malcolm as a proper bloke who's been through it himself, being able to pass on knowledge. And maybe Malcolm's going to be the last of the real people who own and run factory teams, who as a driver can talk to another driver on a level. And Des could do that, although he wasn't a driver.
Well, I mean, just on that, that's something... Go on.
Sorry,
go on,
I forgot to tell my story about the car.
Well.
Anyway, Des, being a proper bloke as he is, decides he wants to have a T16 in the UK. We were all around the factory at the time. He wants a Group B car, but he can't afford one. So he gets a rich American called John Woodner to buy two of them. One road car, which is that one that's over there. He buys a kit for 38 grand from France, does a bit of a deal, brings the two cars over, including a recce car that Peugeot have been using, which is the Evo 1 works car that Peugeot ended up using themselves, copied the sister car to that, which is the Peugeot UK car, and then built that for John Woodner. And John Woodner funded the whole thing in period, a massive amount of money. And John Woodner took it to America. It went to America, but at the time we were around the factory, and I can remember doing photo shoots with Paul Franklin and Håkan Eriksson, and me sat next to the car, never thinking I'd own one. And the top and bottom of that story is then, more or less out of the blue, when Richard Burns, who was my teammate at the time, and a really good friend of mine, followed him obviously through to the World Championship, and then through his illness, when he fell really ill, and I saw the shit side of that, when you think, what's it come to? You know, he's achieved everything we wanted to as young drivers, and then his illness robs him from even being able to spend his money, which sort of killed me. He never got to spend it on women or wine. Anyway, he's from that point of view, when we knew it was coming to the end with Richard, somebody rang me out of the blue and said, I've got this car. I said, oh, amazingly, I know it. And he said, yeah, I know I do. You do. I've restored it. It's in New Zealand. I want to bring it to England. And I want you to own it. So, cut a long story short, he did a really good deal because he knew that I knew the car at the time. And through his help, I was able to remortgage my house. I've been paying about £220 a week for 15 years. And the car's there.
Fantastic, yeah? Fair play. And does it actually go? Is it a proper, or is it just for display? Or does
it does actually go, and it's fast, and I've had lots of pleasure in driving it. loads of crazy incidents with it. If you look on the internet, you see quite a lot of fast driving. My favourite fast story, where I thought, you're never too sure whether you should, how fast you're going to drive it. I got invited to take it as part of the Peugeot Works team with Marco Martin and Beef Park when they were doing Estonia. And we took the car all the way out to Estonia. They'd never seen one in Estonia before. And they said, just drive around the spectator stage, drive it around slowly, it's absolutely fine. Marco Martin's car won. He's along in his Peugeot 206. He'll just entertain the crowd for a bit. They'll love it. There's 20,000 Estonians all cheering for their young, brave champion to come along, and I'm part of that team. So it's a fabulous experience. I park the car up, and the guy says to me, just do the spectator stage. It's 3 miles. You don't need anything. Just drive round, go slowly and wave at everybody. It's fine. I've took my mate out, who's a rally driver as well, Lionel Fern. Lionel, just jump in, we'll go around. Not a fucking chance, Kev. I'm not getting in that car with you. It's like, come on, I'm not going to crash it, am I? Like, how fast can I possibly, do I even want to drive this car? It's brand new to me. So I did my little lap, came back. I park up. They said, oh, the rally's running a bit late. You've got another 30 minutes. Do you want to go again? Come on, Lionel, jump it. No, definitely not a chance now. I won't go fast. Second time I knew where I was going, a bit quicker. Come back round again. Said, they'll be here in 15 minutes. Do you want another go? Now I'm like, yeah, they're a bit late. They're in the forest. They've still got forest tyres on. They've never seen this stage before. I'm going round for the third time. So I might just get a bit of a squirt on it, see if I can impress the crowd. Because the crowd now, they've seen me go around 3 times. I'm under a bit of pressure to drive like Harry Vatanen somehow. But I've only ever driven it. In fact, I've never been sideways in it before. So this time I'm going a bit quicker. And I end up doing, well, whatever flat in 6th is. So jumping over a bridge, and it jumped and landed quite neatly, but still scary because it's a mid-engine car and I didn't know what to do with it when it landed. So when it was up in the air, I was trying to think, I'm not sure this is quite right. Anyway, it landed and that's that. Came back round to the start, thought that's it. Marco was waiting then, said we can't start until you go around again, because we've got to follow you from 3 minutes, your car, opening car now. Really? So I've got my helmet on, Marco's there, Beef's watching as well. And it's like, well, what am I going to do now? So I figured I could probably beat him. It's the obvious thing. He's never even seen it before. He's on forest tyres, I'm on full slicks. I've got a Group B car. Set off as fast as I've ever driven in my life. Within about 200 yards, I crashed. And I didn't quite know what to do, and I can't explain the full accident with it, but luckily it wasn't too badly damaged at all, but it jumped over a curb, and cut a long story short, I dipped the clutch at the wrong time. It's mid-engine, and it does strange things. So when you know what you're doing with it, I wouldn't say it's safe, but it's drivable, whereas I didn't know what I was doing with it.
Brilliant. We've got a couple more guests to come on who are completing the rally, so we'll get them on before they have to shoot off. We've got Tom Williams and Phil Hall. Are they here?
They're not here. They were coming with me. That's the second part of my story.
No, they are here. I'm sure they are. There he is, look.
Yeah, there he is.
Hey.
Tom Williams and Phil Hall.
Now,
Tom's
Kev,
the handsome one with the blue jumper on.
Kev, we've just been talking about Burnsy, and obviously you were his teammate, and I know him well through Peugeot. Burnsy was actually your godfather.
Yeah, that's the one. It's been going around a bit now. A lot of people didn't know this, and Richard was always around the house when I was younger. We'd be playing Scare Electrics together. He'll be playing games. He'll be always around, and I think that's been a big influence on my rallying.
Well, especially as we'll talk about this weekend in a while, but you've been driving Richard's British Championship car a little bit this year. Now, it is 25 years since Richard won the British Championship in a famous LNX Legacy, and you've had the honour of driving it this year.
Yeah, it's been a huge honour to drive that car. Just with all the history behind it, it was just amazing. But that car is just so raw. I've never been in a car that quick.
To be honest, in Rally Day the other day, it looked like it was driving you. I gotta be honest.
Yeah.
You look like a bit of a pussy driving. They didn't have the better of you.
I didn't have you as my co-driver, Howard. I needed you in there.
In fairness, Howard, he was trying to make his own wet weather tyres with a tyre cutter and a set of slicks.
And it was hooning down, wasn't it, in fairness? It looked a bit of a handful.
Yeah, it was driving slicks in the rain with a car that much power. Every time you feather the throttle, you start having oversteer, and there was the understeering, and then he just did everything, which it was good fun, but I didn't know what the car was going to do anytime. So,
Funnily enough, it was a car that Malcolm Wilson struggled to beat.
Yes, it was that year. 93, yeah, that was the championship
Yeah, because
year,
obviously
wasn't
that
it?
was Malcolm's first year in the Michelin Pilot car, and he had the battle with Richard and then Alistair McRae as well.
I'll tell you what was quite interesting, right? I went down to, down the bottom there, England. 3-day event.
Goodwood?
That's it, Goodwood. I went to Goodwood and we had a load of cars and Subarus on the stand, and Dave Lapworth came on and he reckoned that car was the fastest Subaru that ever went around Myra. Apparently Lappy took every car to Myra and did a lap in Myra. And that actual car that they made for the British Championship was the fastest Subaru he's ever taken around Myra. So that does say it was a bit of a handful in fairness.
yeah, I think that was true. That was the thing. It had the most power, and it was also lighter. So all the newer Subarus that came out, all the blue ones, they had more electronics. They had a weight penalty, so they were quicker.
They probably had bigger
smaller restrictor,
yeah. Smaller restrictors. I mean, sorry.
Well, the Legacy was more of a handful. That's what I would say. Yeah.
So you're not in the Legacy this weekend. You're doing the FIA Junior WRC Academy. You've been doing it all year in the little fiestas. Fantastic opportunity, fantastic grounding to see these events. And it's a real rally of attrition, isn't it? Trying to get to the end.
Yeah, this year, the amount I've learned from the start of this year to the end right now is just, I can't believe it, because we're starting off from Sweden, driving on snow, and that was just a complete new experience driving on studs. And when you're following all the Swedish drivers, they're telling you have to lean on snowbanks all around these flat-out corners, and I don't know what to say if I'm doing that round here, because you're just leaning on trees around here. So
You meant to do it in the car, though. Use the car to lean on them, not personally lean on them. That was the problem.
What about for you, Phil? Been a big year doing the WRC events. Have you learned a lot? Have you enjoyed it? It's a big, steep learning curve. Is the Junior Championship a good thing to do? Is there a lot of coaching there?
It's been a good year for me and for Tom. We've learned a lot this year, both of us, and we've come on a lot as a team as well as a crew. This is our second year together. The Junior WRC is such a competitive field. It's a really good place to just find where you are to start with and just keep chipping away a little bit at the stage times. By the end of the year, we've got up a fair few places, and I think we've had a really good year.
I mean, how much, obviously, you're all in the same team, you're all in the same cars. How much rivalry stroke camaraderie is there within it? Is it ruthlessly competitive within the Junior WRC, or is there a bit of sharing of information? What's it like?
Well, I think it depends who you're talking to, but generally in the team it's a great atmosphere. There's 15 drivers, all different nationalities, and the top driver, there's all the people who've done it in their second year compared to the first year, so they do help you. Like Emil Bergqvist, who won it this year, he was a really big help to us because he just gave us a lot of information and he knew I was learning. So it's a really good atmosphere.
And the plan to do it again, now you've learned?
Yeah, I think we're going to find out when all the regulations come out at the end of the year and what's actually happening next year, but if we can, we would love to do it again for our second time.
What are the rounds been this year? You obviously did Sweden.
Yep, and then we went to Corsica and Tarmac, then we went to Portugal, Finland, and then we finished on Turkey.
Finished in Turkey, fantastic.
Now, just
this
on
is
that.
the last one, is it GB?
No, GB is separate.
We just heard from Malcolm, obviously, how hard Turkey was on a WRC car. It's fair to say a WRC car is a little bit stronger than an R2 car. So how did the R2 cars actually stand up to the rough roads?
I think they did okay, actually, because there was 14 finished out of 15, but you didn't want to see them down the motorways with bent beams, 3 wheels, but they all got to the finish.
There was 14 finished. Did you see the footage from Turkey, that left-hander, Howard, where there was junior Fiestas launching themselves
it was on the last day, wasn't it?
into the bushes? What happened there? Why was there so many people going straight on into the bushes, launching themselves?
Tanak almost went off there. Tanak had a big moment there.
Was it deceptive?
I think the R2s are actually the strongest car, because you see all the juniors just throwing them into bushes, rolling, but they do come back onto the road somehow. They just appear back on the road and finish. no one knows how they finished, but they just appear back on the road. So they're a lot of them crashed on Sunday, but finished at the event.
Yeah, maybe they're a bit lighter and they've got less bodywork on, so they're easy to roll back over onto the wheels again. We've rolled a couple over back this year.
Phil, you're a member of the MSA Academy. For those of you who don't know, this is the centre of excellence that the MSA produce for coaching people into our sport. Tell us a little bit more about it, and how you'd get involved, and what you've done, and what the benefits are, and how good it is. What are you laughing for?
So it's made my career. I was in the Royal Air Force until 2015, and then I left to take up co-driving full-time. And in that year, 2015, I applied for the academy and was accepted. Through the academy, I've been mentored for the last 3 years by a load of really good co-drivers, but also guys at Porsche Human Performance helping me with my fitness, and Greg Simon's people at the MSA Academy themselves talking about career direction and what I need to do on events and things like that. Are you both in it? Are you in the academy as well?
Yeah, I'm on the driver's side.
You're on the driver's
of the
side.
academy.
Sorry, I didn't realise you were both in it. I knew you were, but...
Yeah, so they run different streams for different sides of the car, racing drivers, rally drivers, and co-drivers.
And is there an application process every year then, so you can apply?
Yeah, they hold
an
an intake every year. You have to apply with a covering letter and just a CV as well of what you've done for the co-driving side. And then they pick out of them. They have some interviews as well, I believe. And I certainly got interviewed. And then they pick from those 10, 11 people to go forward with.
Now, we just talked about, I guess, looking at how you make your way through your career now in rallying, and things like the MSA Academy, a great way of learning, of mentoring, of moving through. But what we've seen a big shift from is people competing maybe at national level here, then British Championship level, then moving to World Championship level. You know, it's quite common now to pretty much start at World Junior level. How do you think that works? Do you think it's a good thing to learn WRC very early on, or do you think we miss something at national level?
Yeah, well, I think the reason people want to go to world level is mainly due to the size, the mileage you get from the events and the recce's, and with the WRC, the events, most of them stay the same. So I find people almost getting used to the routes, and they know they can get used to the surface. But on national level, where you've got to start somewhere with learning how to make pace notes, there's got to be a starting point, because rallying now, I think, is so much on pace notes now. And to learn this, where do you have to learn? And the British Championship's where it starts, which is already it's the biggest championship in the UK. So it's just finding a starting point.
Now, Kevin, you've been mentoring young drivers latterly. You came through the one-make route. How do you think about the way the sport's evolved, and like, you know, the introduction of this Junior World Championship? It's revolutionised it, but obviously it's a huge budget to compete at that level.
It's really hard to say, isn't it? Because I mean, just thinking about that, my first rally was a road rally. I still passionately believe that people should join motor clubs and people should do road rallies. And you can learn an awful lot staying awake for long periods of time, how to get on with people and your relationship in the cars and all those sorts of things, costing your pence. And we need people to go to motor clubs, to marshal, and to just get involved. So this elite type of rallying, whilst I love it, and I think it's brilliant, and I'm involved with a lot of young drivers and works teams and mentoring on a really serious level, there's got to be something else. So I love this, but there has to be something else for people that don't have the money to do a WRC round. And our sport massively needs to do something that doesn't involve hundreds of thousands of pounds. You know, I started rallying on single venue rallies. I did one-make championships in 1200 Novas, BTRDA, and won that. And I probably won more prize money than any other driver in the UK winning one-make championships, because I won 3 of them, and that's the only thing I could do. But I don't see anything wrong in that growth from club rallying to try and do something. Matt Edwards is a really good example of that. You know, he's a club driver who's become British champion, and that's
He's done a fantastic job, isn't he, in fairness?
Yeah, absolutely great.
And, you know, he's taken a few knocks as well. You think he won the Roger Albert Clark and then got, you know, all hassle with the notes and what have you. But he's come back from that. And he's won the British Championship. He's going to win it by the looks of it, isn't he? He's won the BTRD. He's done a fantastic year this year, fairness.
Do you think we're missing a few tricks in this country, though, Howard, in terms of a stepping stones now, in terms of a ladder?
I don't know. It's bloody difficult, isn't it? It's so... The costs here are so prohibitive. And I like the idea of this this championship where they want to introduce a very low-cost stage events in low-powered cars to try and find some talent. I think that's got to be the future way to go about it.
I can tell you one thing if anybody's listening to reduce costs, because I've run one-mate championships and I ran the most successful one probably ever in the world, run by private people, myself and Pat Flynn. And the biggest thing you've got to control is tyres, the pattern of the tyres and the cost of the tyres, and that's at every level, club level, road rallying, world level. The harder the compound that you make the tyre, the cheaper it is to run. There's no winners when you have soft compound tyres. So you just need a rock-hard compound where it puts it back to driver talent. It takes it away from the car's engineering problems. My T16 that runs over there has got Yokohama road tyres on it. Why would I put races on it? You know, I can't afford to run the transmission on full-on period races. Well, funny enough, back then, the tyres were rubbish. But I can't put modern-day slicks on it. It'll break the car. Take that down, right down to road rallying. The harder compound you've got, that has to last you all night, the cheaper the bill to go rallying. And that happens with Tom as well. So the more we restrict the tyre tread, the tighter the tread, the harder the more tyre wear you'll get out of it. And if I had my way, there'd only be one compound, one pattern, and probably one manufacturer involved in rallying. And don't let anybody make money out of tyres. Just make it cheap enough for us to compete.
That'd please the tree huggers as well, wouldn't it? Because you wouldn't make a mess of the roads.
Yeah, absolutely. No, that's a really serious point because that's the eco tyre.
Have you applied for a job in the MSA ever? Do you think you should? I think you should.
I'm working
chief executive.
I'm working from the outside in a little bit, but every now and again we do get consulted on it. And I have been assured by the MSA they're working on an eco tyre.
They're definitely working on that championship. Yeah, I've heard. Yeah, it's fantastic. Hey guys, it's been great to speak to you. Good luck in the rally. We hope you have a good event. Enjoy yourselves. Yeah. Kevin, thanks for bringing your car. Beautiful example. We're going to put you off the stage now, and we're going to bring on our next guest, who is the team manager from the Hyundai Mobis Rally team, Alan Panas. Thank you. Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, don't they do well? I'd just like to say that these guys put in so much effort. I really appreciate Howard's effort over the years, and I don't get a chance to say it very often, so Howard, rallying needs you, and same with you, Ryan. Thanks a lot, guys.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Kevin Ferber there, a true gentleman of rallying. Welcome, Alan. Come closer, don't sit so far away, we won't bite you.
Well, Howard might, you know.
Welcome to the Rally Forum. You've been here before, you know what it's all about. Yes. And you're on the cusp of possibly winning the World Championship. 3 rallies to go, you're in the lead, but there's a Frenchman and an Estonian catching up fast. And you chucked away a few opportunities.
Yeah, it's clear that we are still in the most comfortable position, but we can feel the breath of people behind us. So they closed up in the last rallies, so it's going to be a promising end of the championship, which is good for all the fans and all the people who love rallying. But it's less comfortable for us since a few rallies now. But okay, we are not going to give it away so easily. We have been performing quite well last year in Wales GB, so we are quite reluctant to do the same this year. And
You've made a fantastic impact in the service park. For those of you that have been down the you see the wonderful Hyundai structure. You've raised the game there. You've come in with a fantastic car. How much pressure is there on you to win this championship as a team from the Koreans? How much do they push?
Yeah, they don't really push, but we can see in their eyes that they really want it. We are now running behind it for a few years, so I think we have the car now to win, and we have the drivers to do it. So this year should be the year to bring it home.
But I'm going to be quite critical now, because in Turkey you threw that away. That suspension should never have come through the bonnet, should it? What happened there?
Yeah, it's true that Turkey we were really reluctant to do a double podium, 1-2. The cars were leading, and unfortunately bad luck struck on Saturday.
Is there somebody who had the sack from the team because of that?
That's a good question, but I don't really want to answer this question.
That means yes then. That means yes. Somebody's gone down the road, DCM we call it in this country, DCM, don't come Monday.
It was not a Monday, it was a Friday.
Because it's very difficult. I missed that, sorry, what was that?
It wasn't a Monday, it was a Friday.
It wasn't a Monday, it was a Wednesday. Yeah, it takes so long to get back and get home and debrief and blah, 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 blah. Gone. That's good because it's very, the running a rally team is very difficult. You have to motivate the mechanics, and then you have the management at the top. But the bit in the middle is the most difficult to get right, because they have to keep everybody happy, they have to keep the drivers happy, but they have to keep the mechanics motivated. And the current style of World Rally Championship doesn't motivate mechanics. They rush around. Somebody told me yesterday, what did they say to me? Let's rush around and hang about. So you rush in, and then you have 10 minutes work, and then you hang about all day. So how do you, as a team manager, and from a team perspective, how do you combat this? How do you get your boys motivated?
It's clear that I have been a long time around, and I have known the rallies where the mechanics were with two guys in a van, and they were then going to a point in the middle of the mountain and just hoped that the car wouldn't come out of the stage in the worst condition. And then if you had bad luck, you had also two cars arriving within 30 seconds, and they both had a problem, and you had two poor guys there in the middle of the mountains, 40 degrees hot, with a lot of dust and whatever more shit in Greece. So they had to do the job, and they really had a close contact with the drivers, and the drivers had to help a hand and make sure they checked in the time control a few minutes later. So it was real on their shoulders. They were on their own on their service point. Nowadays, everything has changed. They are not on their own anymore. Everybody is there together. It's like Howard says, 15 minutes in the morning, 30 minutes at lunchtime, and 45 minutes in the evening, and that's their day. It's clear in between there are a lot of briefings. They are talking a lot with all the things we have on internet now. There are a lot of pictures coming in of the damage in the car and how we can fix it, and everybody is giving advice. But it's more boring than in the old days. That is very, very clear. And we send sometimes the mechanics also back to the hotel, because if on Saturday, from Saturday morning, let's say 5:30, 6 o'clock, there's nothing happening for the guys until 8 o'clock in the evening. So there is no sense to keep them the whole day busy in the service park. So we send them for a few hours back to the hotel. They can have a rest, and then they come back for lunch and stay on for the afternoon.
Have you ever thought of taking them out to the stages to see the rally, to see what impact, what will happen if they don't tighten them nuts up and if they don't get those bolts in properly? Would that be a good idea?
Yeah, but we don't really take the risk. You never know, they got stuck somewhere in a traffic jam in the middle of Wales and they don't get back. That we have a real problem, and I don't want to work on the car myself. So,
but
if you want some help in motivating the mechanics, maybe I can come in as middle management, and we can set up some, keep fit classes, and we can do some motivational talks.
Yeah. This is because Malcolm Wilson doesn't employ him anymore, so he needs some employment.
But I'm sure the mechanics would have a lot of fun with Howard. So.
But joking aside, you're no stranger to perfection. You organise one of the best rallies in Europe, Ypres Rally. The British Championship came there last year and loved it. It's fantastic. What a brilliant event. I'd never been to Ypres until I came last year, and wow, was I wowed. It was incredible. And it's probably the second best rally I've ever been to. The best is the rally in Wervik, and that was because the glack at the course, what's his name, the guy with the broken ankles, he gave me 80 euros worth of beer tokens.
So
you got it right in Belgium, huh?
No, I understand. I have to give him 100 euro with it.
That is the best. But I mean, Ypres Rally has been a blueprint for most rallies in Europe. Every rally organiser, every competitor that comes to Ypres has always said, we want that. What makes Ypres so special?
Don't say the roads, because the roads are shit. You're never on the road, actually. You're always off the road.
Not the best.
It's the Christmas present is always the packing, which is the most important. And I think Ypres is a good example for that. We don't have the most sexy roads there, because I have seen the roads everywhere in the world. And if I look to Ypres, we are not really on the best place about the roads. But I think we make the event so special around Ypres. It's very, very compact. If you make a circle of 30 kilometers, all the stages are in there. So it's a bit different to Wales. And you know, when they have the main square, you have all the pubs, you have 350 sorts of beer in Belgium, can you imagine? So there's still a lot of to do, Howard. So yeah, it makes everything different. Everything is close by, and people in Belgium, they also rough rallying like you do in England here or in Wales. So I think all these things together make it
and
a
also
bit special.
the city itself. I mean, it really embraces the rally. There's very few rallies that actually are based right in the centre.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's true that we have a fantastic medieval town, and we managed to have the service park in the town. We take possession of the whole town, close all the roads. Everybody is working with us. So we also brought now the service park of the historic rally into Ypres. So we have service for about 180 to 200 cars in the middle of a medieval town. So it makes a bit.
And at 6 o'clock every day, they play the last post.
8 o'clock.
Don't they? Fantastic. And it's really, I stood there and I felt quite humbled when I heard that, because it makes you think of all them people that died around the fields there. And when you look how flat it was, they had no chance, did they?
Yeah, there were only a few hills, and they were hiding all the time on the hills.
Yeah, it's
so
incredible
they kept really
place.
stand for a long time there. But I don't know. You know, sometimes I know all the stages by heart, from the back and from the bottom and from everywhere. But I still find graveyards and cemeteries where I didn't expect them to be. In the middle of the fields, you find 20, 30 graves that are there, hidden still for me after
all them years. Let's go back to the World Championship. What's your driver lineup for next year? Straight in, no messing. You've obviously got Thierry Neuville. He's already signed on the line, yeah? He's all done and dusted. Number one.
No, it's clear that our priority number one was, of course, to get Thierry in our boat for a quite long period, because it's a bit stressful to have a driver signing up. So we are very convinced that Thierry is really one of the best. So we really wanted to make sure that he stays with us for a while, at least until I retire. So this was done. We have a contract with Andreas Mikkelsen for next year still, so that we made the second one. And the third one is still open, so we still have a car. We still have a lot of drivers who are interested in it. We are quite reluctant to have a shared car, because we thought that the share between Danny Sordo and Hayden Padden worked quite well. If you take the points together of these two boys and you compare them to Mikkelsen, they were ahead of him. So this car was more beneficial than the Mikkelsen car this year, point-wise. So we more or less convinced Danny that he should do half season. But of course, we have to find the other one to marry with him, and that's the most complicated part.
You've got a junior program with the Hyundai R5s. What about bringing in one of the younger drivers? Because I think it should be compulsory that the third car should be a driver that's not scored in the WRC, and that way then it brings younger drivers up, and it creates a lot of opportunity. And if all teams had to do that, it would make it much more interesting.
No, I fully agree with your view. We have to have a trampoline for the young drivers to work their way up, because it's a very long way, very difficult way, and only a few of them survive until the end. So training a young driver is helping. I think with the R5, we are helping some young drivers. I think the other brands are doing exactly the same. It gives the people experience. We let them experience how a works team is working, so they really understand a lot better how it has to be and how they have to react to all the things. But of course, the step to WRC car is still something else. Last year, we had our Hyundai Young Driver Development Program, which was won by Jari Huttunen. So we put them in WRC2, but that's only a small part of the prize that everybody sees. We also let them do a lot of the rollouts with the WRC car. So in meanwhile, he has a lot of kilometers already in the WRC car, which help him to go to the next step and really sit in a rally in a WRC car.
Just briefly, tell us a few facts and figures about your team here now, logistics-wise. How many people in total?
Differs a bit rally by rally. I think here in Wales we have 81 people working for the team.
How many vehicles?
Oh, I don't have so many fingers. So at least we need 7 trucks to bring our Humber home.
Yeah.
Then we have about 4 trucks for all the material. We have 4 trucks to bring all the team vehicles. So that makes already 8. That makes already 15 trucks. Then the catering is bringing another 2 trucks. So lots of food. So that's already nearly 20 trucks for only Hyundai.
Now you actually have the best food in the service park.
Do we?
What are you laughing at?
You all understand now why we need 2 trucks for the
most The most important thing I had to do when I came today was I get my dangler around my neck, but to get into Hyundai for food as media, you have to have the little ribbon. So that I went to present my dangler and I got my little ribbon, so I'm in for food. How many meals do you make over a rally weekend?
It has to be a lot. It's not really my worry about the number of wheels, but I know we can cater about 300 persons per meal.
Per meal?
Yeah, so it's quite a lot.
And in some ways, from a team point of view, what's interesting is all this has started from nothing. Mm-hmm. Most WRC teams we see are existing rally teams, race teams that have grown into WRC, but of course Hyundai was started from zero.
Yeah, the first year, I still remember it very well, 5 years ago. We really started
5 years?
From nothing.
Is it 5 years now?
Yeah, it's 5 years already. So the first time I came into Hyundai Motorsport, it was just an empty hall with 1 car standing there, a white car in the middle of a big hall. And then everything had to build up. So a few people started and more people came. And I think in the first year we were about 70 people to set everything up. We started 7 o'clock in the morning, 7:30, if it was a long night, and we went up until the last restaurant in Germany closed. So luckily we found an Italian restaurant with some Turkish people who were very keen to work, and we could have still dinner at 22:45. So the day went on until 22:45, and this went on for 1 year. So we still go to the restaurant, but now we go a bit earlier.
Fantastic.
Was that 1 car in the workshop the original Korean development car? Because there was a big mystery around Hyundai's entry into the World Championship, and seeing some footage of that original car with a Korean test driver, etc. So it's come a long way since then.
Yeah, this was this famous car, the white car. Then, of course, it started to grow, and we started to make other cars, and it developed from nothing to a lot more. But, you know, in the first year, you have to set up so much. It's not only choosing the drivers, it's choosing the mechanics, it's having to build the trucks, find somebody who can make a humble home for you, and all these sort of things, and, you know, make all the documents for the team to work, create the human resources. The accountancy has to follow, which was a difficult thing.
How many staff are you back in Germany then?
Now we are about between 220 and 250, I think.
220 and 250.
Changes every day. So
incredible. Fantastic. And do you have one of them in your factory?
Yeah, we have one of those also.
You have one of those also, the heritage of Hyundai.
Yeah, we have all the historic cars, even starting with the 2-wheel drive car. So the one before
front-wheel drive,
one.
yeah, the coupe, yeah. Fantastic. Well, from the perspective of the championship, I'd love to see Hyundai win. I'd love to see you win for the Koreans and Hyundai, because it'll give that lift to everybody. I'd like to see Ford win. I'd like to see Seb win. But I'd really like to see the Toyota win as well. So I'm really drawn. I wouldn't like to put my money on anybody, but because you're here now, I'm going to say Thierry for the championship.
Don't forget we have the best food, huh?
Yeah!
And not only that, the best rally in Belgium might offer €100 of beer tokens next year.
That's the deal.
Alan Panassi, it's been a pleasure to speak to you once again. Thank you for coming. Thank you for giving up your time from your very busy schedule. Alan Panassi, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you.
Right. I've just seen down there that Bryn brought a clock. I've only just noticed it. It's 9 o'clock. Alan's got a rush, thank you very much. Diolch yn fawr. Croeso I Cymru, welcome to Wales, thank you very much. It's 9 o'clock, we all go for a pee, get some drinks inside us, and then we'll have the auction. Remember, if you haven't bought raffle tickets, go and see Bryn Mawr's mum. Hello, mum! She's over there selling raffle tickets. If you haven't been to see her, go and see her. We'll be back at 21:25.